Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reckless Paradise Podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is another Debate Hour episode. This topic is on Kurt Angle. More specifically, is TNA versus WWE Kurt Angle. I am going to go over both perspectives, maybe some matches, maybe some rivalries from both companies and all that stuff, and then culminate it into what the final, debate would be. So come on with me through this journey. So we are going to start in TNA. For the TNA's perspective, there was a better career in TNA. For Angle himself stated that he had a good career in WWE, but he felt he hit his peak and had more consistently better matches in TNA, which that is fair because from '06 till 2015, I think, like 2015, 2016, he had like some really awesome matches. And plus he was on like Percocets and all that stuff. He called himself Perk Angle and all that stuff too. So I can see why he had a good career in TNA. He also had some creative freedom, and the match qualities for his matches in TNA were actually pretty good too. Angle suggests TNA allowed him more creative freedom in the ring, free from some of no of the constraints of the WWE style, leading to what he considered better matches. He also worked with a talented roster. This is like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Sting, Jeff Jarrett, you name it, he faced them. Abyss, Jay Lethal. Um, he enjoyed working with some of the wrestlers in TNA, whom he saw as having strong talent, and also had an increased audience for TNA matches. Angle has expressed a desire for WWE to potentially purchase the TNA library so that more WWE fans could see his TNA matches, which would be actually kind of cool. Arguments for TNA. Peak of in-ring performance. Some argue that Angle's time in TNA represents the peak of his in-ring career with many memorable and high-quality matches and strong character work as well. His run in TNA allowed him to develop into a monster wrestler and tap into new aspects of his character, particularly in his storylines with the Main Event Mafia. But if you do not know who the Main Event Mafia is, it was Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Scott Steiner, and then eventually Sting. Um, and then it kind of transformed and modified into like many years after that too. Um, so then you have the other side. You have the WWE side. Arguments for WWE. I guess it was like exposure and wider audience, which was a larger platform or higher ratings, meant that Angle's matches and storylines that reached a far wider audience. WWE storylines and spectacle. Some to believe that WWE provided a larger stage and better storylines to enhance the impact of Angle's matches, which is fair, very fair. Um, Fundamental career. While his TNA career was significant, Angle was introduced into the wrestling world and established his initial fame in WWE, which is also true. Critically acclaimed matches. WWE produced some of Angle's most memorable and highly acclaimed matches, including his legendary encounter with Chris Benoit at the 2003 Royal Rumble. Um, some of the rivalries that I can think of off the top of my head for TNA was Styles, Joe, Sting. Um, I would say Jeff Jarrett. That's a big, huge one. And then you have Aces and Eights. But here's like a little bit more detailed look for some of these rivalries. So, oh, and plus Mr. Kennedy too, I think. Um, the Samoa Joe one was a long-standing rivalry when Joe had an undefeated streak, and then Angle just came into, so it was like the two biggest like draws of that company, kind of like going head to head and all that stuff. Because, like I said, like Joe had an undefeated streak, Angle just came in, so it was like it was bound to happen at some point, which eventually led to Lockdown '08 which was in the steel cage, which was I did a huge whole review of the best TNA lockdown matches on the podcast a few weeks ago. So go check that out for more information about that. But the Angle and Samoa 2008 lockdown match was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and it was a really good match too. Um, and it was like one of those things where it's like Joe had like one last chance, and then it's like he beats Angle for it, and that was his only time with the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which is freaking crazy, because Joe's been there since its inception in early '05, '06. So it was like one of those things where it's like, man, like why not give him the freaking belt, and just have him run with it, you know? The one with Jeff Jarrett, this one was stemmed from Jarrett's issues with Angle, recruiting him to TNA, and later involved Angle's personal life, which, if that's a whole can of worms for another day, but that one was huge personal, and it made I guess some good TV, some trashy TV sometimes, but that's what it is. The one with AJ Styles was after Angle accused Styles of stealing his wife, which, if you do not recall that, this was like, I think, '08, '09. And this is where AJ Styles kissed Karen Angle, and, Karen and AJ were quote unquote married, and then that's led to the formation of the Angle Alliance. The one with Sting and Angle were both part of the Main Event Mafia and had matches against each other, including one for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This one was also with Karen Angle as well. Kind of, it was like it made some good, like, I guess, like, character building for Kurt Angle and Sting. Um, but there was like one episode of Impact where it's like Angle's like at the football game of Sting's son Garrett, and it was like he's like, yeah, like, he's like, yeah, his dad slapped my wife. It's like, just wait, what the hell? And then the one with Aces and Eights was a brief but intense feud, particularly with Bully Ray, Brother Ray, Bubba Ray. Um, yeah, it's like it's got some like good stuff here and there. The Main Event Mafia stuff was kind of cool. It was a stable led by Kurt Angle. They feuded with various groups, including TNA's Younger Talent and other stables, the TNA Frontline. And then the group's purpose was to dominate TNA and control the top titles, which they kind of did. They controlled the tag titles, the Legends title, which turned into the TV title, which turned into the global title, and then the World Championship. Um, I don't believe like one of them held the X Division Championship. I don't think so. Um, but that's for another day too. Another few, I guess, memorable feuds, if you want to call it. One with Christian Cage, which was actually kind of good. One with Bobby Lashley was short-lived. And then the Angle Alliance, um, which had Angle, Styles, and Tomko. And then he also had feuds with, or Angle also had feuds with Booker T, Mr. Anderson, and Devon, among others. Um, so it's okay. With Angle's time in TNA, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, he was super hot out of the gate, and then you gave him the world championship. It's like, okay, what can you do? And then they kind of was just like, okay, let's just let him be him. And plus, TNA was all about work rate and charisma and all that stuff. But then when you go into WWE, it's like, it's all about work rate, charisma, but also it's about entertaining the fans and trying to keep them captivated throughout the whole thing. So when you look on the WWE side of things, you see the feuds with Benoit, you see the feuds with Edge, you see the feuds with Shawn Michaels, of all people, with I'm trying to think of other people's names. The Rock, Triple H, I think, for a minute, and then like Chris Jericho and all that stuff. But it's like when you think about the WWE side of things, it's like most people just remember the Benoit feud, the Shawn Michaels feud, and then the Rock, of course, obviously the Rock. The funny stuff that he did with Austin, the feud that he had with Austin as well, um, and kind of like the feud, quote unquote, with Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio that led to their triple threat Mania match at 22. The feud they had with Booker too at that time in WWE was actually kind of good too. The feud that he had with Taker was actually pretty good too. Um, but yeah, it's like when you kind of like think about it, it's more so like Benoit, Edge, and Shawn Michaels, and most of them kind of was like it was really good work rate, and which is good. It's actually really good. The ones that he had with Benoit was more submission and technical based. The ones that he had with Edge was kind of more, I guess, thrill ride, sort of like a thrill ride, sort of spectacle sort of thing, which led to the Judgment Day match with Edge versus Kurt Angle, hair versus hair, which where Kurt Angle gets shaved bald, and then the feud they had with Shawn Michaels, which led to Mania 21, which was like absolute spectacle. The rematch at I think Backlash, I think, and then like they blew off with a 30-minute Iron Man match, I think. Um, but then like when you think about other things, it's like he didn't really do much after that. And then he goes to TNA and he has like an outstanding career in TNA. But I think to kind of like solidify this whole debate hour, I think I'm gonna go with the TNA Kurt Angle here. I think TNA Kurt Angle is most he had the most like fun, I guess, with his run. Like I said, like he had kind of more creative control and more freedom to do whatever he wanted to do. Because with WWE's thing, it's like okay, you gotta do this thing, and you gotta do it like under our roof and all that stuff. And it's like some of these big money contracts, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, some of these big money people, they had creative control, so they could do whatever they wanted to do, and they didn't have to fight whoever they wanted to fight. And same can be said about Rock and Austin, because like they're big, huge draws. So it's like one of those things where it's just like, okay, so he just didn't want to do anything else in WWE, and I kind of understand that. And then goes to TNA, has like outstanding feuds with Joe, like AJ, Jeff Jarrett, Sting. Um, most creative I think years for him in TNA. But that is it for this debate hour. I know it's kind of a little bit short, or really not short. But if you guys have made it to the very end of this video, please make sure to follow us on all social media links in the description below, which will take you to our Instagram page, Twitter page, Reddit page. My gaming YouTube channel is on there. And tonight's song of the night is a Ice Nine Kills song. I know this song pretty good at this point. It is called The Great Unknown, and is kind of hype up to their next album that's supposed to come out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but hopefully it'll be either end of the year or the start of next year. I don't really know for sure. There is a music video for it as well, um, and it actually is a lot of fun. There is some people that come back from the Welcome to Horrorwood video series. Bill Mosley, shout out, and the I can't remember the guy's name, but he plays JP in Grandma's Boy, which is actually a underrated movie. And he makes a little cameo at the end, which is actually kind of funny. But yeah, that is it, and I will see you guys this Sunday for Shoot the Shit episode 32. Peace!